went on longer than you would expect from like the typical, quote unquote baby blues. And so that I knew was a warning sign. And then for me, I spent so much time obsessing over whether it was significant enough to seek help that I just got to the point where it's like, okay, I think it is, just because that's all I'm thinking about is whether I should and whether it's significant or enough to do that or not. I was also really lucky to be surrounded by lots of clinical psychologists in my life that I was able to talk to about it. And, including people who really normalized that for me. And so, so I was able to do that pretty early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, I did not want to get help for so long because this was not a me issue, right? So I said that this, for me, presented as more sort of anger and rage. So it didn't end up being as much of an issue with our first child. But when our second child was born, we were in the midst of so much transition. We had just moved to a new city. We were both in relatively new jobs. We didn't have much of a village yet because of so much transition. And so he had just started a new job that meant a lot of travel right when our second child was born. And so for me, what I now understand was a lot of postpartum issues. It was just anger directed, of course, at him, at the world, at, so it didn't look like the traditional depression, right? I wasn't staying in bed. I was angry. Like, you're traveling, you're gone. I don't have support here. I think for a lot of people, postpartum issues can show up in lots of different ways. And I struggled to identify what I was experiencing as probably postpartum anxiety or depression that manifested as anger. And it wasn't identified until we were in, marriage therapy. And it was like, oh, maybe this is some of that stuff going on that I was worried about.